Exclusively on Spotify. Welcome to Mom's Basement with your host, Colossal is Crazy, Faze Banks, and Killer Keemstar.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back, Mom's Basement, and we were going to have Mr. Beast. In fact, we did have Mr. Beast on. We recorded an episode, and then what happened was...
The episode was fucking trash. That's what happened.
The episode was actually pretty good, but
it was all right. But listen. Jimmy only had a few. He was limited on time, and like we talked in a podcast setting for an hour, and it was good. But I would argue that it wasn't great. And then we stopped recording, and we had like an infinitely better conversation, which just go.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? We just want to knock it out of the park. Jimmy's got a lot of shit going on right now, and he's got a lot more time freed up for next week, so he's going to be episode 3. But
and what a great guy. We're not going to get a chance to talk about this when we have him on next because the video will already come out. But the dude literally like bought truckloads of meat for like
the coronavirus thing
that are dealing with this. Yeah.
Listen, Jimmy's 10 out of 10. But we have a really awesome backup option in Mike. We have Hey Big Mike, Mike Lovesack, Logan Paul's best friend, 1/3 of what's the fucking
impulsive.
Dude,
I'm happy you did your research.
Clown goes, how do you say his last name? I'm going like nobody says his last name.
Yeah, how do you pronounce your last name?
No one knows for sure. It's they're telling me it's Malak.
What, you don't even know for sure?
I don't fucking know. It might be Majlak, it might be Malak. But listen, one thing it's not is good replacement for fucking Mr. Beast. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm honored, but that dude's a fucking legend, and we've had him on the show before, and he puts on quite a show. But I was talking to Ricky about it already right off the bat here earlier before we came on, and the learning curve and the growth and the kind of stepping stones into getting that exists when you're getting into your first couple shows are just they're just massive. And your first show and your second show are so different than your 15th and 20th show. You guys won't even recognize yourselves anymore. So I mean, it's nice to warm up. Have Mr. Beast back at episode 20 when
what
you can
episode are you guys at in Impulsive?
Probably about 170, I would say.
You guys are doing good.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
And I would argue that you're the star of the show, Mike. Nothing against anybody else on the show, but I think you make that show what it is.
Yeah, I mean, people have their opinions on it. You know what I'm saying? Logan does a great job leading the show. He does a great job introducing topics. He does a lot more pre-podcast work than I do. You know, I kind of show up and just blow up. That's it.
I personally think that the skinny vegan is the one that steals the limelight. He's constantly talking, has all the great points.
He's gone. He had a midlife crisis, and
wow, we really didn't do any fun.
Didn't even notice it. Didn't even notice.
We love Spencer. You know, Spencer brought a little bit of balance to the show. I mean, it's quite a you know, almost like a boys podcast. It's a kind of a massive like masculine podcast, and I think Spencer brought a lot of
like beta vibes.
Not beta, but just a little bit more
I mean, no disrespect.
A little bit more sensitivity to the show, and just brought a different angle of.
So yeah,
a little bit. Vibes. He wouldn't even care. He would be fine with that. But I mean, now that he's gone, it's been kind of just back to that super masculine energy.
I did see that he went to Hawaii and he was like really happy because he felt like, I don't know, it was just like he belonged there. He was more connected to nature or something. Like, what was he on about? Like, what really happened? What's the truth? Come on, let's get down to it. Why did he leave?
I mean, Spencer's on a journey, dude. He's not like us. He's on a journey to.
The fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
you just gotta understand
He's on a journey. He's on a journey to the center of the fucking earth. Like where's he going?
I think he means more of a spiritual.
Yeah, I mean, he's not after the same things as us. I think, you know, I don't want to speak for everybody, but you know, personally, I would be happy with, you know, leaving some quality legacy and making an impact on the world through the content that I put out, and, you know, making a ton of fucking money and building great relationships and that kind of thing. And he's just not after the same kind of stuff. His impact that he wants to leave, he wants it to make the world really a more positive place. We get off on making people forget about their day. That's it. We just want you to watch the show, laugh a little bit, forget about the fact that your dad's beating the shit out of your mom or your girl broke up with you or whatever fucking struggles you're going through, and just be happy for a little while. You know, that's what we're trying to do.
He wants to be boots on the ground, get his hands dirty, plant trees, and actually change
100%.
the world.
He wants to change the global education system. He wants to save the rainforest. Like, I wish I could say I cared about shit like that.
You know what? The
what I'm
best
saying?
way, in my opinion, to do something very impactful in this world is to have clout. All right, you need clout. All right, you get clout, then you have followers, and then you can mobilize those followers to do what you're trying to do. So I maybe running to Hawaii and leaving this podcast impulsive, not such a good idea.
Life's about a lot more than fucking clout.
No. I'm saying if the kid wants to,
you know what I mean?
I know life is way more about clout, but what I'm saying is you can use clout to make world-changing, life-changing stuff, you know?
100%.
No, of course. Speaking of clout, Mike, I used to joke around. I used to say you put the mic in micro-influencer, and as of lately, you've blown up on YouTube. You're getting give me the breakdown. What's your YouTube channel looking like these days?
Yeah, I mean I'm almost at 1 million subs. It's been anywhere from the numbers, the views have been crazy. It's been anywhere from 3 to 5 mil an episode for the Night Shift Overtime, which is a vlog series. It's pretty wild.
It's quite the transition. Is this true? Did you used to sell beanbag chairs?
I did. I mean, the reason why I know a lot of the people that
he's still to this day saved in my phone is Mike Lovesack,
and I don't know if I'll ever get out of that.
You
but
can't.
Quickly, the Lovesack. I mean, I wasn't on the sales team. I ran an influencer marketing team at Lovesack, and it was super beneficial to my career, and it was everything that kind of put me on the scene, and it was my initial contact with Logan and a lot of other people. And we got to do great partnerships. We did a partnership with Faze this year that went really well, and I'll be forever in debt to Sean Nelson, the CEO there, and to Lovesack as a brand, but. Nah,
I thought you were gonna say Logan Paul and your porn star girlfriend.
Well, yeah. So anyway, I'm getting to that. I just wanted to.
Did he get that for you for your birthday? That's the rumor that I've heard.
Yeah,
True?
I'm trying to take them as these questions as they come.
That really did turn out to be the best birthday present of all time.
Ever. So
she's actually here right now. She's sitting in the room.
Yeah, she's sitting in the room looking at us.
Hi, how are you?
She's a good
seen
girl.
She's online.
I've seen you online. She's So Logan, for one of his vlogs, his first vlog back, jokingly gave me the birthday present of meeting Lana Rhoades, who I had told him before that obviously I had an interest in, and that was.
So how many videos of her porn have you consumed before this event?
It's funny, and I want to give like the obvious answer, and people will probably like expect me to say like I had some like marathon. It was more for the content. Like I've definitely seen some of her work, some of her more like highly viewed videos, but I'm not a porn addict.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not.
This is so unfucking true. How can you be a big fan but not have consumed a lot of her content?
Let's just let it out. Like you had kind of a sick obsession with porn stars.
With porn stars, not with their work though. Not with their work. I wasn't consuming a lot of content. I liked the idea of it. Lana bucks the trend. She hasn't shot porn in years. It's been a very long time. She still maintains the #1 spot on Pornhub, but we talk about this on the show all the time. The girl I know and Lana Rhoades, the girl that people online know, are completely different people.
Yeah,
of course.
She's a very, very sweet, shy and sweet girl. She's very, very sensitive and in touch with her emotions. She cares very deeply and is just a super sweet girl.
From my personal experience, the girls in that industry are so much easier to kick it with.
Oh my God.
On like a whole different level.
The adult space is blending with the influencer space. It's a full-on crossover.
For sure.
Speaking about people doing their own things, Nelk, they just got banned off of YouTube for a week, and I just saw on Twitter just now that they're launching their own goddamn app. So they're about to start putting their own content on their own app and everything.
Shit.
And I'm seeing a lot of people starting to do this.
I can't wait. I personally cannot wait till YouTube dies. I need it. We need a do-over with this whole video.
Dude,
I fucking hate YouTube.
do you know how it feels Do you know how it feels for me to upload a Drama Alert video, Banks, right? And upload it to YouTube and only get 1 million views, and that same exact content uploaded 3 hours later on Snapchat gets 5 million views? Do you know what that feels like? I'm known as a YouTuber. Like that's you Google me.
Listen, let's talk about
the YouTuber, right?
Let's talk about Google and their track record
Snap.
of like what is it? Like the platform interface and how easy it is to use. Remember when they did the Google Plus thing and how absolutely
complete
it was
mess.
it was the absolute
worst thing
failure.
ever. Yeah.
They just don't understand or connect with humans on that level. It's a very technical company.
Yeah.
And like TikTok is so much easier to navigate and just find what you want to watch and watch it. Snapchat, Instagram, it's so much easier to consume content.
Listen,
as opposed to YouTube. Like YouTube does make it a lot harder.
Everybody is looking for the out. I have had more meetings with every single top level influencer that you or that Keem reports on constantly. More meetings with platform builders to get all of us off of YouTube over the past year than I could ever fucking tell you.
Yeah.
Here's the here's
I think everybody wants it,
but here's the problem. YouTube is the awareness engine. Okay, the reason you could get
YouTube is the center. It's the epicenter of
the
social
reason
media.
you can get 20 to 30 million views on a runaway video is because there is a massive amount of users on that platform.
Of course.
And so for the people that want to be seen by the masses, experienced and consumed by the masses, some replacement program or app that maybe people develop or maybe people adopt, maybe people download, maybe, it sounds attractive, but here's the problem. When you come crawling back to Susan and she buries your ass because you tried to do it on your own, now you're fucked. You don't have anywhere left to run to.
Well, there have been other competitors to YouTube. There's not that like there haven't been, but they just failed.
Yeah,
They've
but
all failed.
wildly unsuccessful.
Call them out.
Like Vimeo and fucking, what was that one that like you had to pay for? I don't know. There was one.
Yeah, there was one that didn't do ads, and you just had to pay the creator in order to see their videos, and it just didn't work at all.
I'll tell you exactly what YouTube will do. In 2014, 13, right, this other company came on the scene, right, and they were launching a competitor to YouTube. And so what they did is they grabbed all these big YouTubers and they made a deal with them and they paid them a shit ton of money. And they said, listen, you just upload your content on our platform 3 days before your YouTube videos. So everybody made this deal. YouTube found out about it, hit all those YouTubers up and paid them 2 years in advance to not upload to the other platform.
What was it called again?
YouTubers,
I think I want to say it started with a V. I swear it started with a V. It was dog shit though. The whole idea of it was dog shit.
But anyhow, I know a YouTuber that literally got a check. Okay, granted, he was making like $50,000 a month or something on YouTube, which was good back then.
Who was
right?
it? This is so far in the past.
I know a YouTuber that got a check for like $2.5 million, and then he exceeded what YouTube's expectations were, so they paid him like double and a half of the exceeded amount. He walked away with $3 million.
Is he still uploading to YouTube to this day?
Yes, he is.
Having monopolies are bad for any sort of
absolutely.
for any market that they exist in, and YouTube is quite frankly a monopoly in the free video sharing space. And like that exhausts change, and it helps us, you know what I mean, improve our financial situation. Gives us leverage. I feel like the only way for it to really happen, for somebody to really step up and compete with YouTube, would be first off for already a wildly successful like platform like an Amazon or a Facebook to just flat out like take all the biggest creators, because I would argue that somebody who does this as a profession is a lot more focused on the financial side of it than the exposure side
100%.
of it. Especially if you already have the exposure side of it, especially if all your other platforms are strong. You know what I'm saying?
You could get the downloaders on another site.
If you can get all the top people to move over and really back it, and you can just make a better website that works better.
The problem with it is,
and just pay people ridiculous money up front, and then obviously the smaller mid-tier guys will stay on the platform, and some of them will shine through and start to become the biggest people on YouTube, but you just snatch all them too.
Also remember that YouTube has been top dog for a long time. So moving everyone off the platform to a new entire platform is A, going to take a lot of time, and B, may not even work because we've just become so naturalized with YouTube.com.
Listen, we have global conversations all the fucking time across all platforms. And I don't think it would take a very long time if it was clear cut, dry, a better platform and better content. I feel like people would.
The case study for this is the music industry. So everybody wanted to break the music industry, and Tidal tried it, and they got everyone. They got Jay, they got Kanye, they got Rihanna, they got everybody, and it failed. It didn't work. They weren't able to do it. Like I said, I've sat at these meetings. I've been at them with Austin. I've been at them with everybody. Everybody you could fucking imagine. I've sat in these big-ass boardrooms overlooking the hills with these guys that have millions and millions and millions of dollars to throw at a new application.
Yeah.
And they want every creator off of YouTube.
I think it would take more than millions. I think
whatever you want. But here's the other thing. Besides one engine bringing all the biggest creators over, the other thing that could work would be a massive change in the style of content and how it's consumed. And so the biggest bet that is happening over the next 2 years is Quibi.
Yeah, I know.
Quibi is
cool.
the biggest bet. Now, Quibi has $1.7 billion
For people who don't know,
in backing.
For people who don't know, you want to explain what it is? It's like an interactive.
Quibi is a hybrid between Netflix and YouTube. And so basically, people will create Netflix quality content. I think they're 7-minute bites. I think they're called bites or something like that. Or
it's interactive too, right?
I don't know all the ins and outs of it. Yeah. But it is one of the most heavily backed startups in this space. And everybody's watching it to see what happens with it. We have been through every you can't shame someone situation. You can't fat shame people. You can't slut shame people. I mean, slut shaming has been the funnest one for me to try to understand. But the biggest thing that you can't, or one thing that you can continue to do is age shame people.
Yeah.
It's all about majority, minority.
Well,
That's
no, but listen, to me, it's the weirdest one because God willing, you will get to that age if you're lucky. If you're lucky. True. So when you say just all the other things, you fat shame someone, okay, if you can not get fat, great, you won. If only if you're lucky will you be able to call yourself the same age as Keemstar or me or Banks.
I'm with you on that one because age is something that is beyond your control, right? Everyone gets older.
I'm 28, by the way. I got a couple more years of youth.
Everyone is going to be older, like you said, God willing. But you can help yourself if you're fat. You can help yourself if you're a slut. So those are very different things.
Here's a perfect example, though. Here's a perfect example. I tweeted out a Snapchat or a TikTok dance or whatever, right? And this dude responds to me, and he's like, "You're a grown ass man," and I'm like, "Well, what are you gonna do when you're a grown man? Sit in a corner and read a book? Like what? Like what are you gonna do when you're my age? Explain me what exactly you're going to do. Like
I am literally going to write a book and read books when I'm your age.
Fuck you, you boring old man, you piece of...
I've always wanted to write a book.
I hope you die in your bunker.
When I get as old as you.
Hey, man, it's not as easy as you think.
Of course.
Listen, my opinion on why there isn't a voice against age shaming is because older people just don't give a fuck and they don't view themselves as victims. You know what I mean? It's I feel like it's like, I don't know. I just can't, like, there isn't never going to be a mass amount of older people who are just stand up against age
there's
shaming.
also, it also is only in a very specific industry that you see the age shaming. And listen, I watched a conversation with Rogan the other day, obviously someone I love to watch and take a lot of just inspiration. And I mean, he's kind of the cream of the crop when it comes to this podcast game. And I watched him make a comment about people who make online comments. And somebody was asking him kind of like, yo, how do you feel about these people that say this about you or that about you? And he said, do you think that LeBron James is leaving YouTube comments?
Absolutely.
Do you think Michael Jordan is leaving YouTube comments? I have tried and had to get accustomed very quickly to the negative sentiment that is the internet. This has all been a wave for me. You guys have been at it a very long time. For me, I've had to get used to, now I get messages every day of disgusting shit that may have happened in Lana's past, and I got to see this stuff, and I always, that's a small example of but there's the age shaming. Why don't you go back to shooting heroin, you junkie? I mean, people are terrible.
Listen, I'm
terrible. But let me just pin it.
Yeah.
I have had to understand very quickly that the majority of people who have something to say on the internet in regards to your content or your personality are the people that you don't want to listen to when it comes to shaping your personality or your content.
Absolutely.
And so it's been such a learning curve for me. It's to understand that I exist in a place and I work in a place where every single motherfucker has an opinion. I put it in relation to back in the day walking through the grocery store and buying a bag of chips and 50 people walking past you with their shopping cart saying, "Oh, your fat ass is getting those chips today? Hey, your head's fucking stupid, you old fuck." Who are these people? I get it, they're your fans, and I get it, they consume your content, which is 1% of what you are as a real person. But at the end of the day, I need to sit back and be able to detach myself from feeling any type of way of what these people say.
Nobody who has a reasonable amount of success and more importantly is happy with themselves is going to try to bring other people down. And like I said, I'm shameful to admit it, but when I was in a worse place in my life and I sat on the internet, I took part in all that shit.
Facts.
I talked shit to people, whether it was mean-spirited because I genuinely didn't like them and I hoped that my comment would hurt them, or if I was making a joke. I don't do these things nowadays because I'm happy, I'm somewhat successful, but you know, when I was fucking miserable, when I was waking up and I hated myself and I hated my life, I took part in that stuff. So I lived both of the, you know what I mean?
Depends what you say, of course, case by case basis again, but I see absolutely nothing wrong with making a harsh joke
There are
about
people on the internet, all right, that will be mean to people all day and be totally happy in life. And like, I'm mean to people all day on Twitter. You know?
Yeah, but Keemstar, you're a scumbag piece of shit.
I know, but it's fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
fun.
Like-
I'm not
well,
walking
listen,
away from my
it's just-
computer and
it's
I'm
just-
not suicidal or anything. Like, oh, I hate my life. Like, no, I love my life.
Right.
But Keem,
Hold on.
It's different too,
hold on a second.
It's not. It's a huge part of comedy. It's a huge part of comedy.
That thought process and that way of creating content is prehistoric. Everyone, as you can see in real time, all of the rude, mean creators are getting pushed to the bottom. Look at the people at the top of the charts right now. Look at the people who are cleaning up on views. Family channels, David Dobrik, who is good to all his people, who is buying shit for his fans. Even say me. Say Logan Paul, 5, 7, 10 million views per video. Most of all, Mr. Beast, giving shit out, making people feel good about their lives.
I refuse to believe that Logan Paul is such a great beacon of positivity.
I disagree. I would disagree with you wholeheartedly. The people that watch his content.
I think he would disagree with you.
He
would
wouldn't.
disagree with
the people that. Hold on, let me finish.
Clown, wait, clown, explain
yeah.
yourself. Like, why do you think that he's negative?
Because he is.
Clown, have you watched recent Logan Paul?
No, let him explain.
To be fair, I haven't seen the recent Logan Paul content, but I'm aware of his previous content, and I think I have him kind of figured out as like somewhat his personality.
Well, what is it about his old?
And I do not think he is a beacon of positivity. I do not believe that.
What is it about his old? What is it about his old content that struck you so negatively?
Because
even just his old content, not his new stuff.
Because he was doing crazy fucking shit. He went to a suicide. Look, can we talk about the suicide forest thing? I mean, that's the prime example, really.
Oh, we're just gonna run to the one mistake. Just straight to it.
That was the one mistake.
Listen, let's.
No, hold on. No, I want to talk about this. I want to, if that's his go-to, because I've done horrible.
I mean,
things
I
in
just
my
use that as the prime example because everyone knows that. That's like the most mainstream thing that he's done, right? That's what people know Logan Paul for.
But hold on, clown. Let me ask you a question. I'm sure you've done something in your life that you're ashamed of. Yes. If you can't answer that question quickly by saying yes, you're a fucking liar. Have you done something in your life that you're?
Well, I really don't think. No, I don't.
I mean,
think so.
as a human being,
how is that possible? How old are you?
I'm 30. I'm 32.
How is that fucking possible?
I don't think I have. Like, genuinely ashamed of.
You've done nothing in your life that you're ashamed of.
No. Not in the comparison, no.
Clown, what I'm getting at is this. Whether or not there is something, let's imagine that there is, because for every single other human on Earth besides you, everybody regrets something they've done in their life. Now, let me ask you
I've
this.
been embarrassed by things I've done, but you used the adjective ashamed.
Okay, Banks, let me ask you. Banks, have you done something in your life that you're ashamed of?
Absolutely.
How would you feel if
Yes,
the one
many
definition
things.
of you as a person, as a creator, as a life form, was that one horrible, ashamed regret that you made in your life?
The thought of that is obviously unfair.
Horrible.
It sucks. Yeah.
And so if that is the reason why Logan Paul is a demon in your book is because he made one tragic mistake in his life.
I didn't say that at all. That's not what I said at all.
Can I hop in? Can I chime in? Let's just wipe that clean. Let's pretend that didn't exist for a second. I'll challenge you, Mike.
In fact, I made a tweet at the time because he did give $1 million to charity afterwards, and people were still giving him shit. And I said, actually, no. If he wanted to make this right, that's one of the better things he could have done. And I said, stop giving him shit.
All right, so
don't assume my stance on it. Don't assume my stance on it. I just used that as a primary.
Well, no, I was
the
just
mainstream
no, I was just
thing that
I was just
like
curious,
I said, let's just pretend that doesn't exist for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, Logan has taken part and gone like the drama route before.
For sure.
He's perpetuated negativity and he's, you know what I mean? He's influenced people to make negative comments toward other people with the fight, things like that, other beefs he's gotten into.
The fight.
I mean, that's fair.
The fight's different. You want to go back to the older stuff. The fight's different. The fight has to get marketed. Fighting is.
I understand, but it doesn't change the fact.
I mean,
the fact of it.
Even there,
I mean,
right? It's kind of not a very good point. But even there, like just because you mentioned it, being fake to promote something so he can gain money is not something
He
positive.
hammed up that video where he was pretending to be colorblind.
But he's talking about I had to amplify it. I had to be fake on camera.
No,
in
they
order to
hate each
promote
other.
this.
Yeah.
So I can gain money. I do not consider that super fucking positive. A beacon of positivity.
A beacon of positivity is not always the content that is produced, but it is the outcome of that content. We meet people, thousands of people a year. We hear from them online. We meet them in person that get something from his content that makes them feel better about their lives. It makes them...
Fuck, I do that. I fucking do that with some of my videos. I don't consider myself a
Mike,
beacon of
I want
fucking
to talk to you about that real quick.
Sure.
Mike, I want to talk to you about that real because, like, you know, recently you started dating the porn star, and you and Logan on
ex porn star, and she's just a girl. She's just a person, just like everybody else.
And you know, I see you on Impulsive, and you're constantly saying like, "Hey, our audience is older."
100%.
Like,
stand by it.
Now we got college kids watching us, and it's not the little kid.
Yeah.
And then like the very next day after you said that, like a bunch of like 12-year-olds ran up to you in the street, and I think it was New York City.
6-year-olds.
Yeah.
6-year-olds. Not even 12-year-olds. But let me ask you a question, Keem. Are we talking about outliers here? Or are we talking about data?
I'm just saying, like, we all have the data, right? And I'm sure that our data.
Where were you guys when this
actually, I
group
don't
of
think our data is
6-year-olds
probably similar, but I bet mine's a little bit
we
older.
were in Times Square. I know exactly what he's talking about. I would say that the demographic that currently watches Logan Paul's vlogs, and more so Impulsive, is much older than the demographic that watches drama.
Well, what's
drama
the average age? What's the average
I would say
age?
probably. I
your
would assume
guesstimation.
it's probably between 17 and 20.
I mean,
years
I
old.
could publicly put out my tweets.
I can't dispute it because obviously I don't have the figures, but yeah, I would say that as well.
I have my figures, and most of my viewers are adults. I mean, of course, kids lie about their age when they make a YouTube channel, but that's what my data
we
shows,
could obviously
so.
pull it up, and on Impulsive, which is the platform in question, which is the one you brought up, I would assume it's even older. I would assume the Impulsive base is 22 to 26.
Listen, I don't like when people like give the responsibility to any creator as far as who is attracted to their content in the first place. Like, if a group of 6-year-olds runs up to you,
Well,
that's not your fucking fault.
Yeah, sorry to use this phrase again, but we got to go a case-by-case basis because there are some YouTubers that do directly try and convey their videos to kids.
I'm a firm believer in make the fucking content you want.
Logan Paul and Jake Paul definitely went out of their way to target a younger audience.
Yeah,
to sell
five years ago.
So you don't think there's still going to be a huge proportion of kids watching the content? I suppose they have aged by 5 years.
Anyone's welcome.
Hold on.
Anyone's welcome to a transition and to change what they do.
That's not what we're saying.
100%.
No,
100%.
yes, of course. We're not saying that though. We're just saying that, like, you know, those audiences and that fame was built on targeting a younger demographic of children. I mean, like Jake, for example, which is not Logan. I know they're two different people, but Jake, for example, literally made a music video where he was dressed up as Santa, telling his fucking fans to bag their parents for Jake Paul merch.
Yeah,
like, what is that?
I mean, Keem, listen.
No.
You're not invincible from pushing adult content to kids, dude. Like let's be honest. I mean, you play.
Oh, I've always been adult. Like I've never had like little kid content. I've never like dressed up like Santa and said, "Hey guys, sit on my knee."
Well, hold on. Let's talk. Let's. No, you never dressed up. You never dressed up as Santa, but you never dressed up as Santa, but you talk about influencers that are watched by children.
Oh,
you talk
yeah,
about
of course.
Austin McBroom. You talk about so who do you think gives a fuck about Austin
Adults,
McBroom
because
if it's not
6 and 8 year olds? If it was 6 and 8 year olds, my videos would get spammed with dislikes.
Keem, they don't.
It's both. Surely it's both.
My
both.
videos would be spammed with dislikes. Those fans
Let's
are
all just-
little
let's all
brain
just
dead
be-
sheep.
let's-
No, let me finish my
let's all
point.
just
Let me
be
finish
honest
my
with
point.
ourselves.
Let me finish
Okay,
my
go ahead.
point.
Go ahead.
Those little kids are drones, all right? They can't think for themselves. When we were younger, we were the same way, right? We
I was
didn't
a
think for
fucking
ourselves
genius.
like little
Straight out
followers,
the
right?
womb.
We didn't develop into our own person, right? Your followers when you're younger. And so if the content that I'm making is attracting all the Jake Paulers and all the Logan Paulers or whatever, my videos would be spammed with dislikes because they're not going to put up with me, shitting on the Pauls.
Surely it's both, right? It's going to attract some kid fans who are fans of that particular person you're talking
Can
about.
we all just be honest with
and
ourselves
adults
for
who
a
just
second?
can't stand the
Hold
fucking
on,
guy.
hold on.
Well, you can't say hold on when you're interrupting me, Mike. Come on, I know you're the guest.
It's
No,
me.
that's-
That
that's
was
bad.
me.
That was-
That
sorry,
was me.
Banks.
But
Sorry,
I've been
you
trying
do
to make.
sound
I've been
similar.
trying to make this point for fucking 5 minutes. We're all tripping if any one of us is gonna. None of us give a fuck who's watching our videos. Most YouTubers don't give a fuck who's watching their videos.
No, I'm sorry. I do give a fuck because I've got I'm saying some things in my videos that I wouldn't want.
That's not
kids
my
watching.
responsibility, though. That's my stance. I don't know if it's wrong. That's not my fucking
It's the parents'
responsibility.
I think
It
it's the
wasn't. We're not
parents'
talking about
responsibility.
responsibility. We're talking about whether we care or not. Completely different thing.
You're an anomaly, then.
That's
I
not
think.
an anomaly. I think a lot
most
of people
I
feel
think
the
most
same
YouTubers-
way.
I think most YouTubers are just looking to give the right answer if they try to, whether it's Logan
listen.
Paul, whether it's Keem, whether
Listen,
it's any.
I agree.
Anybody
completely.
who-
I think at the end of the day, this is my take on it. Logan, Jake, Dobrik, Austin. It's always been easy to hate these guys because they're on fucking top. Keem looks at Logan having a $35 million year.
I don't think anybody hates
No,
David.
yeah, bro, yes they do. Keem, hold on a second. Keem, let's
No, I
get to
don't.
Mr.
agreement
Beast
on
is
this.
on top.
Hold
People
on a
love
second.
him.
Let's get to agreements on this. Keemstar has gone out of his way, day after day, for the past years of his life to break down the Paul family. He would do anything. He would tweet insufferable, ridiculous, factless bullshit to come at the Paul family in any way, shape, or form possible. I think that Keemstar has more of a hard-on for Jake and Logan Paul than any other person I've ever seen on this
Okay.
planet. And if you disagree with that, you're lying to yourself. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about this clown guy. I don't know what he creates,
This
what he
clown
produces.
guy.
I've never seen anything or seen his
I've
name
never-
guy.
I can answer
I'm
your
not trying to
question. I've never made a video
I'm
on
not
the
trying
polls.
to
I've just
clown.
made
I'm not
tweets.
trying to disrespect.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to disrespect you. I just don't know what your take is.
All right, I will tell you. I've told
I know
you my
his
take.
Look, let me respond.
Clown-
Can I
I'll say
respond to that?
clown
Can
is
I respond to
critical,
that? Can I
but
respond to
fair.
that, please? Look.
And he just that's what he does. He criticizes.
Keem hates the Pauls.
But that's a fact.
Hates
Let me
them.
let me
Hates them.
let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. I've been a YouTuber for 11 years. Okay, I seen these guys come over on Vine, and I seen them, Jake Paul make a cringy music video. I was the first to talk about it and say, "Oh my God, what is this?" Right? And then I saw Jake Paul jumping up on a TV van, and then I reported that, and then we saw the mass like manipulation and extortion from these little kids over and over again. I mean, the videos were just commercials. Buy this merch, buy this merch, buy this merch. So what you do is you naturally, like, you respect people like Logan and Jake Paul as entertainers when they were in 2017, when they were, doing their show, but you also have to, like, kind of hate what they're doing, right? It's it was becoming less and less about the content and more about
I
selling
get
the
it.
t-shirts
I get
and
it.
merch.
Let me explain Keemstar's. Sorry, go on, Mike. You're the guest.
If they were targeting teenagers, fine, but they were targeting like little kids, you know?
I get it. The part that I have trouble with is obviously let's avoid the specific case, but you don't really have a leg to stand on to talk about people doing shit on the internet that they shouldn't have done.
Oh yeah, I do. I do. It's that leg that I stand on is called Drama Alert with 5.5 million subscribers.
All right, listen.
Welcome to Mom's Basement.
We had to take a quick breather. I think we got a little bit derailed. I think the show's great. I don't know, Mike. You're awesome. You're awesome on the show, and you're really good at this podcast thing.
Listen, all I'm trying to
I'm
do.
happy that you came on. This was great.
Me
This has been
too.
great.
I'm trying to talk from a.
I love how this all stemmed from talking about positivity and being a beacon of positive, and we took a whole fucking.
Well, listen,
crazy.
I got it. Listen, at the end of
Can I ask this then, please? Like, Mike, do you consider yourself a beacon of positivity?
I will say, as Mike's personal friend, and I didn't touch base on this.
No, I want Mike
let
to
me
answer,
fucking
Banks, I'm
speak.
sorry.
Let me speak. Let me talk. Because I get cut off and then
All
when
right,
I fucking do
I
it,
just
everyone
wanted
yells
his
at me.
answer.
I've gotten cut off a fucking million times in this episode. Let me fucking talk and give my take, and then Mike can fuck. Listen, you two have been going at Mike, and he's had to defend himself, and he's my fucking homie, and I respect what he's done. Listen, Mike is extremely positive. A to Z extremely positive, okay? And Logan isn't Jake, and Mike isn't Logan, and they're all individuals at the end of the day, and they work together, and they operate as a team. Not so much Jake, but you and Logan, and that's just the fucking fact. I'm friends with people. Keem, you're a perfect example. You're my fucking homie. You're my brother. I've known you for a long time. We've had personal stuff, behind the scenes stuff. You've helped me through real personal shit. And for that reason, you are my fucking friend, ride or die, and no matter what happens, I have your fucking back. That doesn't necessarily mean I agree with everything you've ever done. And it doesn't mean whatever. But what it does mean is I will always have your fucking back, and I will always be your fucking homie, and I'll always be there for you. And I have to. And exactly, likewise. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for somebody who operates the same way. Mike is not afraid to share his flaws and try to spin it into a positive thing. If you take a look at his Twitter, and I know neither of you are super big fucking Mike fans, but I am a fan of him as a
I barely
person.
know him, honestly, like, genuinely.
I'm a fan of him as a person, and far before you reached any sort of success on YouTube, I told you had the ability to do it. I saw it from a mile away. You're an entertainer, and you are a good fucking person, and I know that from the behind-the-scenes stuff. I know you to be a good person and to be a very positive person. In the most simplest examples, when there's drama amongst me, you, and 3 other people, when Katie Bell's up in my fucking living room crying about nonsense, and we're all drunk, you're the guy who pops in. What the fuck are we doing? Look where we're at. We're all living a fucking dream life. Stop fucking crying. You're crying over nothing. Let's all have fun. We're all together. What are we fighting?
Well, you know why, and you know why. You know why
why
I'm able to approach this from a different angle than 99.9% of the people in this space is because I was begging for a coffin at one point.
Listen, I would be hard pressed to find an example where Mike's gone out of his way to be negative. Like, do you Clown?
Yeah.
Do you just lump him into the Logan Paul? Because I will agree.
No, he hasn't been mean to me. No, the Clown hasn't been mean to me.
This has been a good example, but a good conversation. But I would say it's an absolute stretch to claim Logan to be a beacon of positivity.
Okay.
Yes.
But I would
Let
say,
me say this one
but
thing.
I would say
Look,
you're
I
a lot
don't
closer to
have a
that.
horse in this race as regards to Mike. Obviously, I knew who he was.
I
I've
don't
seen the
either.
Impulsive podcast before, but really, like, I've got no negative connotations towards Mike because I don't really know that much about him.
Is it possible that Mike is over the top positive and over the top nice to the point where it comes across as fake?
Good question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think he's got a point. Listen, Banks, you know me. The response and the adoption and the reception of me as a influencer has been hit or miss. There is a very large
absolutely.
There is a very large audience of people who don't understand my vibe. They don't get me. They don't like me. They think I come across as like he said,
hustler.
fake or a hustler or whatever, right?
I like you, by
But
the way,
then there's-
Mike. I
but-
don't
no,
hate
hold-
you, Mike, just so you know.
Hold on,
I like you. I fuck with you, but I like fucking with you as well.
I know that, and we've kept it very cool, Keem. But there's also another very large portion of the internet, and which is the reason why I do what I do, that sees it, that gets it, that are the banks of the internet.
Trouble. When you hear about
that,
someone
hold
for
on,
the first,
hold on, clown. Let me just finish. That are the banks of the internet, that especially the ones that know my backstory. Those are the people that truly know my backstory are the ones that fuck with me the most.
It's not even so much as knowing your backstory, because somebody can claim whatever they want, but I notice examples and real life examples, and I notice people's character when the camera's off. And seriously, and I'm not just sucking your dick right now, and I'm not just playing devil's advocate because you guys have kind of taken, you know what I mean? You guys are kind of on the opposite side of the table, but I know you to be positive, overly positive in real life, which confirms the fact that it isn't fake. I understand how somebody would maybe come to that conclusion or maybe question the validity of your positivity, but I know you to be a positive person.
Do you know how many times?
Not to sweat
do
the
you know
small
how
stuff.
many times?
I know you to go out of your way to try to push somebody in the right direction and help somebody when they're down, because you've done it with me, and I know you to be a good guy. And anybody that fucking knows me, they know I put that shit above all else. It is impossible for me to be fake nice to somebody. I don't give a fuck what the views look like next to them.